So hi everyone, and welcome back to IATiP's interview series, where we're interviewing members of the aquaculture sector in Ireland to find out more about what's going on in this area. Today we are joined by Áine-Lisa Shannon, who is the project facilitator with BIM's ARC programme, and she's working to really drive public engagement with aquaculture. So hi Áine-Lisa, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. It's great to be on.
Thank you very much, and it's great to have you on board now to answer some of these questions, because I'm dying to find more about the ARC programme. So just tell me all about it. I'm dying to find out.
Perfect. So the ARC project was launched by the European Union, and it's called #Farmed in the EU. So it's funded by the EMFF, which is the European Maritime Fisheries Fund. And the aim of the ARC project was to increase awareness of the aquaculture industry here in Ireland and talk about the benefits of eating farmed seafood. So, and the jobs that it can bring to rural local communities in Ireland. So the ARC actually stands for Aquaculture Remote Classroom. And aquaculture is the farming of plants and animals underwater. Remote because most of our students are at home or at school and we have to travel all around. And classroom, well, because we hope they learn something. So it's absolutely brilliant. I love doing it. And so we start off with the workshop, and it has 4 main topics that we cover. We talk about the species that we farm here in Ireland and how they're farmed. We talk about the geographical locations of aquaculture industries, or the units dotted all over Ireland. We talk about why they would mainly be focused in on the west coast of Ireland. And then we talk about the health benefits that seafood can provide to our bodies.
Which is fantastic. So it's really an introduction for young people to everything that's going on in the sector.
Yeah, exactly. It is. And we mainly kind of talk about, because I think 2 million people live within 5 kilometres of the coast here in Ireland. That's almost half of our population. So we actually have a huge amount of people relying on our coast. And there are approximately 310 aquaculture units dotted all around Ireland, both inland and coastal. And the fishing and aquaculture industry employs up to 16,000 people, directly and indirectly. So there's actually a huge amount of people that depend on the aquaculture and fishing industry here in Ireland. So we just want to get that across. And with the aquaculture industry, there can be quite a negative stigma surrounding it. But I think it's more just because people don't understand it. So that was our goal then, is to run the ARC project, and we mainly focus in on 5th and 6th class primary students. So I think once you kind of teach the kids, the kids will kind of go back to their parents, and, it always starts with the children. So that was our goal as well. And there's been a huge positive feedback as well. So it's been absolutely excellent.
Which is amazing. And you're really getting in there and capturing the next generation of kind of aquaculture researchers and producers while they're young. Yeah,
no, it's brilliant. And so we start off the workshop. So we would visit maybe 2 schools in a week. So it'd be Monday to Thursday. And the ARC is an actual mobile classroom that we bring along. It's actually carried on by a truck. It's a classroom. It's brilliant. It's top of the range. We would bring that classroom to the school, and it's completely high tech. It's really modern. It's the total opposite of your regular classroom. So it immediately captivates the students' eyes. So they absolutely love it. So we start off at maybe 9:30 in the morning, and it doesn't finish until about 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's a long day of the workshop. And at the start of it, our first module we kind of talk about is why we started moving from fishing to aquaculture. We date back to the hunter-gatherer technique, how farming started, 10,000 BC. So it dates all the way back to that. And how now, because we're kind of fishing at our maximum capacity, we have to look at new alternatives to get our protein choice. So I think it's 50% of the world's habitable land is used for arable farming. So we've kind of run out of space on land. So now we're starting to look at farming underwater. We just explain that to the kids. And then we talk about the species that are mainly farmed here in Ireland, which are salmon, Pacific rock oysters, and blue mussels. The 2 of them are shellfish, and then salmon, finfish. We talk about that, and we talk about how they're farmed. And then in Ireland, the main aquaculture units are dotted all along the west. And this is really down to the topographic regions. So basically, when you look at the west of Ireland, it's very rocky and it's full of a lot of mountains. So the weather and the soil quality is very poor. So we actually can't farm cattle or sheep or any of that on land. So the agriculture industry is quite low there, whereas compared to the Midlands and the east of Ireland, it's really popular. So we said, well, because they have very limited land resources, they have endless amounts of sea. That's why the aquaculture units are mainly dotted along the western regions. So we just talk about that, and then we talk about the socio-economic benefits that an aquaculture unit can have to a local rural community. You might just start off with a fish farm there, but then you might need a vet, you might need a truck driver to transport the fish, and then eventually it might move on and you might have a local news agent, you might have a small school. So it just builds up from that, and that's what the goal is. We're trying to tell people that, you know, jobs don't always just stem in urban areas, that rural areas can provide jobs as well in Ireland.
It's really driving new industries in these areas, isn't it? Like, and just this whole job creation and one way kind of connecting us back with the island and our coasts and everything as well. Like, it's just kind of engaging all over, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, when you think about the scale of the job creation and what the industry can do, I mean, it really highlights the work, or shows the emphasis or the importance. Can't talk now. I'm just too busy listening to you. It just shows how important that public engagement with aquaculture is, and how important it is to raise awareness about it, because it's really doing so much for us as an island, and for Ireland Inc. You know, us as a producing nation.
It is, and it's brilliant. I mean, I think as well, people think that jobs, you know, we're trying to get into, especially the transition year students, we're kind of focusing in on them now when it comes to the careers in the aquaculture industry. Many people will probably just think that jobs just stem from the fish farms themselves. You know, that's not always the case. Like, there are many different jobs in the aquaculture industry, and like some interesting jobs might include pilots, commercial divers, you know, chefs. There really is a job for anyone in the aquaculture industry, no matter what your interest. Marketing, advertising, you know, it's not just working on the fish farm themselves. So like, I think a lot of people just think it's, you know, you're just out in the sea and it's going to be cold in Ireland. That's not always the case. That's what we're trying to get across as well. So it's brilliant.
Yeah, no, it is. It's amazing. And I was going to ask you, because you work in this space the whole time, and you're working with children who probably never heard the word aquaculture before. So if you were a producer in Ireland, or you were working in this space, how would have you any top tips for explaining what aquaculture is to somebody? How do you go about it? It's such a big thing.
Yeah, it is quite confusing. So what I say to kids is, I say, well, we farm cows and sheep and pigs on land, and they're blocked off by a fence, and it's the exact same underwater, except we farm fish, or we farm shellfish. So it's literally the exact same. It's like farming on land, except it's just underwater, and we farm a different type of species. So it really is. That's why we say agriculture is farming on land, aquaculture is farming at sea. So it's really just down to the basics. It's the exact same as farming on land, just underwater.
Yeah. And it's good to have the basics of communicating it, because the whole thing just snowballs from there once you start talking about it. There's so much. And I heard, so Ark, I know you have a fantastic facility, and I believe is there a new truck coming online very soon?
Yes, there is. So we used to have, it was a smaller truck, and it was kitted out to look like a submarine at the front. It was brilliant. But it took about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the weather and the location, to set it up. This one now, we have a new self-expanding automatic Arc mobile classroom, and it's brilliant. So a truck will come along, pick it up, and then drop it off at the school. And then it's all kind of enclosed, and then we just press a few buttons, and it's all self-expanding, and it's set up within 10 minutes. It's brilliant. So that's going to be launching in January 2022. So I can't wait for it.
Very exciting. You won't know yourself now in the full space. I'm very jealous of everyone who's going to get to see it.
You must come on yourself, Sarah, and see it.
I'll be on, don't worry. And so for anyone who's looking to find out more about ARC, where can they go?
So if you go onto the Iascaigh Mhara website, so it's bim.ie, we have a whole section there on the ARC, and we talk about the different modules that we teach the 5th and 6th class students. And we also produce online webinars to 5th and 6th class primary school. And we've also started reaching out to secondary school students, mainly focusing on the career side. So all that information is on bim.ie. And because of COVID and we couldn't travel around to a lot of the schools, that's how we started doing the online webinars. But we've also produced 5th and 6th class online lessons and resources for students as well, working from home. So you'll be able to find all that on the BIM website, just under the ARC section.
Which is great. And then for teachers looking to, I suppose, to use those resources, are those linked to the curriculum at all?
Yeah, they're all linked. Yeah. So every module that we've done within the ARC it's all set up to link in with the curriculum of school. So we talk about geography, we talk about kind of socioeconomics, so jobs and money. We talk about nutrition, so it's all linked in with curriculum. So it works out, so the teachers can literally just sit back and relax because the students are learning absolutely everything that they would be teaching them in class.
Brilliant. It takes the load off, really, doesn't it? Yeah. That's great. And we can share all of those resources from the IATiP website as well, so people can find information there. And if people want to hear more from you, Áine-Lisa, where can they go?
So for myself, if they want to just hear more from me, was it separate to the ARC, or is it just with the ARC?
Well, I believe you have an excellent Instagram following, so you're inspiring the nation. So why do I follow you?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to follow me, I have a marine biology Instagram page. So it's called oceangirl_Áine, where I just talk about some of the marine species found all over Ireland, and I'm encouraging people to get out there and explore what Ireland's coast has to offer. So yeah, Ocean Girl Áine.
Fantastic. I know what I'll be doing now. Lunchtime, I'll be trying to find out more. Thanks, brilliant. So thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for your time. And again, we'll have all those links up on the IATiP website very soon for anyone who wants to find out more.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for having me, Sarah.
Thanks, brilliant. I will chat to you soon.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.